Welcome back to my channel Lomzy Sews. In today's sewing tutorial, I will show you how to sew corset back with loops and zip. It's very simple. All you need to do is to pay attention so you don't miss any sewing tips and tricks that I'm going to be sharing on how to cut and sew this. Let's start with the tutorial. So here I have my corset back panel and I have cut out the back panel on my main fabric full. I didn't interface it. You can go ahead and interface yours. So the lining is where we're going to be adding this. So you're going to cut a yoke here, and from the center back you come in like 4 inches or 5 depending on your client. So I'm going to cut that into this place. I'll have a yoke for the upper side, and from the center back, remember I've added all my sewing allowances anyways. When I finish cutting this, I'll also add sewing allowance to the lining. So I'm going to cut out the pattern pieces on my lining. These are all the pattern pieces. As I explained to you, all I did was to add sewing allowances, as you can see. So I will set aside the yoke so that we work on the panel, the lower part of the panel. So here is my panel. Remember, my main fabric is cut into 2 like this, and this is where I'm going to be adding zipper. So I'm going to place this so that you understand what I'm doing. This is the center, the first panel for the back, and this is the side of the panel for the back. So I'm going to place them how they are supposed to be. That way it will be easier for me to explain to you. So this is the side and this is the center back. So here is where we're going to be adding the loops. I'm going to mark this with chalk so that you know which side is the back, because if I don't show you this, you will not know the side, how to place this. So now this side is the front and this side is the back. So I have back side facing together and the right side. Here we're going to insert the loops. I'll set this aside and we're going to make the loops. For us to make the loops, I have here bias strip that I have made. I have cut out 1.5 inches bias strips. I'm going to go to my machine now, fold this into 2, and I'm going to sew away 1/4 inch. After sewing it, this is how it's looking, and then I'm going to use my safety pin and I'm going to turn this inside out. So you go ahead and turn it inside out to make loop. After turning the loop, I'll go ahead and cut it into pieces. I'm going to make 2.5 inches for each loops. So you go ahead and cut this into 2.5 inches for each. To make the loops, I'll be using ridgeline boning for this. So dependent on the length of your back, the back of your corset, you're going to measure that out, and you're going to place these loops that you have made this way. When you place one, you just sew it on it, and you're going to place another one on it like that, and keep sewing as you go. So you keep doing that till the end of the loops. After making the loops, this is how it's looking. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to insert this into the back panel. For mine, I have 6.5 inches. This is because of the length of the back of my corset. So I'm going to place this like this, and I'm going to sandwich the 2 of them. So you measure 1 inch from the upper side of your corset, and you're going to place the other panel on top of it. Remember, this is the front side, so you're going to place this like this, and you're going to sew it. You sew 1/2 inch here depending on the allowance you left. You're going to turn it over like this after sewing it, and you're going to top stitch it. But first of all, let me go ahead and sew it. This is it after sewing it, and I went ahead and top stitched it. The next thing is for us to sew the yoke of the lining. So this is the yoke. I'm going to place it like this, and I'm going to stitch here. I'll turn it over again, and I'm going to top stitch it there. This is it after stitching the yoke of the lining. So remember that this is the upper side, and for the main fabric, this is the back side. So I'm going to place, normally how we do it, you're going to place right side facing together now, and you're going to sew the neckline and the keyhole. This is it after sewing the neckline and the keyhole. So you can see the front and you can see the back of it. I'll go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. This is it after adding the loops to the two sides. As you can see, the next thing I'm going to do now is to add zipper to this. I'm going to use open and close zip for this because I'm not adding lower part to it. I'm just having it as a top. By the time you fold it over like this, you should be able to tie the loops. So I'll go ahead and add the zipper to this and hem the lower part. This is it after I'm done doing everything, as you can see. So you can be able to open up your zip, and also you'll be able to see the loops. So you can now tie the loops here, as you can see. So I'll go ahead and tie the loops so you see what I mean. So this is it after tying the loop. I went ahead and tied the loop off camera. So this is how it's going to look on your clients. Can you see? You can be able to zip it after tying the loops. So guys, we have come to the end of today's sewing tutorial. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.